Okay, thank you. What? It hurts. Just at home. Just at home. Oh, Sharon's. Yeah. For now. 90? Oh, degrees?
Hey,
I
Matt.
made it to 100.
Matt, is he doing my prayer? Okay,
Uh,
like seriously, he is. Hello, hello. Can you hear me?
mm.
I don't hear mine.
I can't hear me.
Oh, it,
The sound's turned off.
yeah,
She's
they come
turning it
to
off.
the house right now, but I'll get it
Hello.
wherever,
Hello.
Okay.
wherever they want.
I think it's no.
Things
Do we have to yell then?
I've been known to. Oh, I think I can.
No.
I. It's.
Yeah.
Testing. It's on.
Oh,
Matt,
It's on now.
it's on now.
Testing. Testing. Yeah.
We're going to call to order the meeting of the Parowan City Council. It is 6 p.m.
I move that we nominate Rochelle Cobham to be the mayor pro tem tonight.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. This is so my comfort zone. All right, I'd like to welcome you all out to the City Council tonight. See a lot of faces that I know and faces that we don't, so welcome if you haven't been here before. So we will start with our opening ceremonies, which will be given by Matt Gill.
Our dear Heavenly Father, we're thankful for this day. We're thankful that we could meet here in this community. We're thankful for the love and guidance that you show us. Please at this night to help and guide us that we can be able to be peaceful, to be able to conduct ourselves with respect, and help us to get along with one another. We're thankful for the community. We're thankful for our freedom. We're thankful for everything that we get from that freedom. Please continue to watch over this valley and this community, and we're thankful for the moisture. Please continue to bless us with the moisture to help us with our needs in this valley. Again, we're thankful for all that we have. I say these things in the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
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 Everybody, please stand. Pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Matt.
Thanks, Matt.
All right. Do we have any declarations of conflicts or personal interest with any items on the agenda?
No, ma'am.
No.
Okay. I'd like to have a motion to approve the meeting's agenda as outlined.
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting's agenda as outlined.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I just want to make a point of clarification. On the work meeting with the True Rams, it is a work meeting, so therefore it cannot be moved up as an action item. But we will talk about that and move forward as we need to with that. So it will not be an action item, however.
Mayor, do you want us to, amend the agenda and move that?
Well, I wanted to, but I, was told that we cannot move it from a work to an action item.
No, but you can move it to a work. You can,
It's on work.
right, but I mean, you can split, have a work meeting and then go to the action meeting and then back to the work.
Even where it's not publicized, where it's not public.
It's there. You can amend the agenda.
So we could, okay, so explain to me what you're saying.
What I'm saying is we can amend the agenda by moving number 11, say, to number 8,
Okay,
and then go back to the action meeting and then do 12 and 13.
well, they were wanting it to be an act, so that we could take an action on their resolution that they're wanting to do tonight, but we're not going to be able to do that.
But it wouldn't be.
But you're saying that we can't, they want a resolution,
Right, and they want to vote on the resolution.
then can't we move it to action?
But isn't it?
Right, and by just shifting it around?
As an action item?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
That's what I want to do. I'm sorry. Can we
I move that we amend, did we already vote on the agenda? I move to amend the motion to approve tonight's agenda.
I'll second that.
do you want it how it's amended?
Wouldn't you move the
Okay.
motion to amend it to move it?
We're going to amend it
First,
first,
Okay.
and then move it around.
and I've seconded.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Mayor, I move that we move item number 11 on the agenda to in front of number 8 on the action meeting.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. All right, moving into public comment. This time has been set aside for public to express their ideas, concerns, and comments on non-agenda items. Comments are limited to 2 minutes per person. Public, this is your time if you'd like to express. Okay, we'll move out of public comment. All right, well, moving on to the consent item agenda. Consent items are only those which require no further discussion or are routine in nature. All items on the consent agenda are usually adopted by a single motion. Do I have a motion to approve the consent meeting item agendas?
I move that we approve the consent agenda items number 6 and 7.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Can I say one comment just real quick here?
Absolutely.
Talk to Judy on here. Where we had pulled the money out for the league, for the conference coming up onto there. There is, my name's listed twice,
Oh, you're right.
and do believe one of them should be the mayor and not me. So I'm not going twice to
Just
the
me.
league.
Are you going for me since I can't go?
Yeah, yes, maybe that's what it is. I'll go to the meeting still.
You'll learn it twice. Okay. Kelly's got that noted. Okay. All right.
I second that again with the comment.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, moving into the action item agenda, is the True RAM resolution with Parowan High School, and this is Principal Kim Bailey. Yes.
Oh, Parowan High is the peer of schools, over all she reigns supreme.
All right,
I'm old, I forgot the rest of it.
That made my night. All right, Principal Bailey.
City Council, we're here tonight, first off, just to say thank you for all you do. We know that this is a public service and that you dedicate your lives to this and your well-being and your time, and there's nothing more valuable than the people that you serve, and that's got to be at the forefront of everything that we do. So I guess I'm here tonight because I feel like this is an opportunity for us to be a little more transparent in what we do. I know that's a word that's used commonly, but and understanding what those roles are. And I also think it's a historic moment to say we love Parowan, which is something that people bring to me quite frequently. And when they greet me, they say, usually that's the first thing that comes out of their mouth. And so my goal is to have all of my students say that as they leave. I love Parowan. And it's going to take a lot more work than I can do myself, and I've realized this as a principal. We have greater needs than just my school, and there are community needs, and we need to step up and do our part, and that's why I'm here. And our request is that you will listen to these young people. I have some of the greatest people here in our school. We want to have this a unified resolution with the city. This is something that we are going to utilize in our meetings in our school. And focus on throughout this coming year. So this will be a focus for this school year. And I invite you to do the same in your meetings, to use this as a guide for what you do. That's part of the resolution. I want you to know that everyone here loves and cares about this community. And we're all in. We're all in. So with that, I'm going to give some time to our student body president.
My name's Daisy Dunlap. As you said, I'm student body president, and I'm going to read the letter that we brought today. Beloved City of Parowan, the Iron County School District mission statement reads as follows. The mission of the ICSD is to support families in developing college and career readiness by building knowledge, skills, and relationships for all. At Parowan High School, we have a vested interest in building relationships as part of the community that we serve. At the core of our values is an acronym called True RAMS. We have this value statement everywhere in our school, and it is central to the instruction of our students. The acronym stands for R, respectful, A, accountable, M, make a difference, and S, serve others. At this time, we feel it is more important than ever to come together and build community. We love Parowan, and we love the spirit that resides in this community. Our desire is to value and support those that live, work, and serve in this community. We would like you to know that we are committed to all of our core values, and we are here now to make a difference and serve others. It is with a sense of urgency that we propose a joint resolution. Because of tumultuous political and social views, we need to be united to help support and educate our community about the roles we play and how we serve. The logic behind this resolution is, if we don't invest now, we will pay for it later. Parowan City officials, together, we can make a difference, and together we can build community. Let us be united in our desire to improve, educate, protect, and serve. Let us continue to build on the spirit that makes Parowan strong.
Hello, I'm Brooke English, and this is a rough draft of a resolution. Therefore, Parowan High School proposes a joint resolution working with the city officials and law enforcement for the 2022-2023 school year. The resolution reads as follows. As a community, we resolve to be true RAMs. My name is Chloe Townsend, and I'm the Cool to Care president at PHS, and the rest reads, as a community, we will find ways to work together and support each other. As a community, we will help educate and inform the public of our roles and responsibilities.
I'm Jaden Griffiths. I'm the student body secretary. As a community, we will look for ways to build community spirit, support our community servants, and make Parowan strong. we would like to invite the council to vote on this, and then after the vote, we would like to invite you all to sign our posters. Thank you.
Any further questions, I guess?
So do one of those posters stay here with us,
So,
like at the city, or?
yes, so what we'd like you to do is to sign both of those. I've also invited the chief of police here and the police department, as well as other community leaders, and, once you sign, or, we'll give you a shirt and move forward. So that's part of the deal, right?
We get a shirt out of it.
Yeah, it's part of the deal.
Is it a long sleeve one?
It's short sleeves. Yeah. So we just appreciate, your willingness to listen, and we know that this is a big responsibility. It's something, like I said, we don't take lightly. But we know that we need to step up and we need to make a difference. And Parowan has to be in the forefront. As a community, we need to be united to build and construct, because we're building it tomorrow. This is an opportunity for the city and the school to work together with my leaders and make a difference, which is one of our core values. So with that, I give you the opportunity to make that motion and determine our path forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you guys have any questions?
No, I just would like to say, you can really feel a spirit with these youth and the leaders of the school, and I really appreciate that, bringing that here. At this time, I'd like to make a motion that we adopt the True Ram resolution with Parowan High School.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Roll call, that's all I was gonna say.
Because it's a resolution.
All right, I'll start with you.
David Burton, aye.
Rochelle Topham, aye.
Sharon Downey, aye.
Matt Gale, aye.
Jim Shirtliff, aye.
The ayes have it. Motion carries. Yeah.
I liked your brothers and sisters better.
If you wouldn't mind just coming down and signing those resolutions quickly, Chief Berg and other leaders that have been invited to do so.
Callie.
We'll help you, Mr. Burton.
Callie said she'd bring it to me. Thank you. I'd just like to thank all the representation of all the students here. It really shows the support and the unification, the unifying body that is present, and we just thank you for that.
Can I say something? Am I okay? Okay. This is so awesome. It is so cool to see the school and the support behind everything and the community working together. We are the envy of all the other schools in Iron County. They want what we have, and so I commend you in working together, bringing this joint resolution forward, and the students putting the effort into it.
They're gonna bring it over. Yeah, what about me? That's all right.
Down there if you want.
No, I don't think so.
Pardon?
I was like,
As big as you've got, you have a 2 or 3 extra large?
I know.
Yeah.
Don't do it. I mean, for kids to do that is something.
Thank you.
Okay, do your,
let David sign it really quick.
oh, yeah, then Chet.
No, we'll get going.
We need to sign anywhere.
Oh, we'll give that to her. Thank you.
That'll sign. It's, I can use my pen. Okay, well, thank you.
We did it.
I'm glad we
Want me to
Oh,
read?
it's okay.
That'll be good.
I gotta sign her too.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Okay, thank you. What size is this lot? Okay, it's good, yeah, just, yeah, the bigger you can get, thank you.
We can do that. Want to do it real quick?
Yes and no. It's like,
Oh, I don't like pictures, period.
all right, I know that this is an exciting time and we can all feel the vibe and we're all just having a great time.
Gabble, gabble.
But we do need to carry on with the rest of the agenda.
No, we don't.
We don't need to, we can just go home. Meeting adjourned.
Thank you all very much.
Yes,
Well,
thank you so
thank
much for
you.
coming
You're a
out.
great example.
And I do know all the lyrics to the Parowan High School song, but I don't want to put Mr. Shirtlip to shame.
You may as well get in line. Everybody wants to put me to shame, so it doesn't bother me. No,
Thank you.
we're lucky to have it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Principal.
you.
Thank you.
You still in?
Jeez, everybody's gone.
I know, it's just like cleared out our room. I kind of want to just keep them here so we can have like the excitement of the youth. The youth really just bring something special. I really
They do.
feel like that, they do.
They do.
All right, moving on to review/action on the new Economic Development Committee member, Lori Eichelberger. She would like, okay, so we're recommending putting Lori on the Economic Development. Is there a discussion that you guys would like to have? If not, I'd entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to put Lori Eichelberger on as a representative for the Economic Development Committee.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, moving on to the review/action on Arbor Day proclamation from the Shade Tree Committee.
You want me to?
Yeah, I was gonna say, do we have somebody presenting so we can see
Okay,
you?
the Shade Tree Committee, met and to meet their, I guess their standards as far as to maintain their status as Tree City, USA, they need to declare and have an Arbor Day. So they recommended that, I believe it's October the 6th of this year, be declared as Arbor Day in Parowan. So if that's basically it. So if there is not any other discussion, then I'll make the motion that we declare October the 6th, 2022, Arbor Day in Parowan.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. All right, moving on. Review/action item on Parowan City Pool progress with Jones and DeMille. I'll entertain a discussion.
What more do we have to do on this for the pool? What stage are we at now?
So we are on the funding part.
The funding part.
Mm-hmm.
This,
So,
excuse me, go ahead.
No, go ahead, David, you first.
It just allows Jones and DeMille to fulfill their contractual responsibility
Okay.
to go and search and secure funding.
So what do we do when they have almost reached the point of the contract amount of money? We're at $85,200 and some odd dollars, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't that corrected? It was at 86, wasn't it?
84,125.
84,125.
Mm-hmm. The contracted amount is 86,900.
And did they have 11,000 to put towards funding? Is that it?
No.
Meaning,
Or is that additional to the, or is that incorporate in that 85,000?
It's incorporated in there.
So there's no more money we're gonna be spending on top of that?
No. The contracted amount is the 86,900. And that's it. And then I just want to make a point of clarification too, because I think there might be a little bit of confusion, is when they're going out to try and secure funding, like, I'm just going to use CIB as an example. They go out to CIB and they can see like how much money they would give us and if it would cover maintenance or all this stuff. That is not saying that we are committed to anything. Like, we're not committed to take the money that CIB, like, you have to sign for it. They have to make sure you can afford it and all of that. So them going after funding does not bind us with anything. It does not, I'm just saying, they're just going out and looking per se. We're not signing on the dotted line for the project to move forward. They're just gonna bring back, this is what they'll give us. We'll look at it, we can do it, or we can't do it, and we'll have to go a different direction.
Is there a timeline on when they'll report back?
Well, the CIB application due date is October 1st.
And they will, now are they gonna,
So they can submit it October 1st. However, depending on where you fall in their line, you can have your meeting with CIB October, November, or December.
But when they go to CIB, do they just go and say, how much will you give us, or do you have to present the plan and?
So they are going to present just the standard, that layout, and probably just the highest thing that we had, like the biggest amount one is what I'm assuming that they'll present.
The 11 million that.
Right.
Well, the CIB grant, the most they'll give us is 50%.
Right.
So if they come back with 50% of 11 million, that still means the city is responsible for $6 million.
So that's only one source of funding that they are gonna look at. Now,
Well, no, I understand that, but what my point is that if we get a CIB, the most they'll give us is 50% of what we requested. Have we gotten any other, grant applications? Have we got a letter from the school about supporting the school
No.
district? Is this the beginning? Is the CIB grant the first step?
My understanding is we're, as far as the council, we need to let them proceed to do it. They can go get the grants, they can go look at, you know, 'cause right now they really can't proceed on getting that.
So what we're doing here is telling them, go ahead, go find us 11 million bucks.
yeah, basically.
Well, what we can afford. My understanding is CIB won't just give you $11 million.
They'll only give you
Well,
half of what.
but I think they're gonna look through our finances on our end
No.
of it and say, hey, you know, they may come back and say, you can't afford this.
Exactly, but what I'm
They-
saying is that the CIB is only,
Partial,
and it's only a percentage of,
correct.
and they can give us less than that, they can,
Yeah, they can get,
So-
we can be on the hook for all the 100% of it,
yeah.
or we can go 80-20, there's different options
Or,
we can do.
right, but, so what the resolution is, or the action is to tell Jones and DeMille to proceed with finding funding for the pool.
As far as grants, and far as donations, I think it's just the start of it, correct?
Yeah, it's
Isn't that my
Right.
understanding?
It is just the start.
I would say it's to give Jones and DeMille the opportunity to fulfill their contractual
Right,
obligation.
because that was part of the
'Cause
contract.
otherwise they can't.
Right. Because we did have in the contract that they would go after funding, prepare the CIB grant.
Right.
Do all of that, so
Yeah.
this is.
Along with the other procuring any other
Right.
participating
So
entities or anything.
like you said,
Yeah.
David, this is just for them to be able to,
But also get us hard numbers.
yeah,
Mhm.
give us an idea of
Yeah,
what.
instead of just, this is what it is.
Mhm.
Get us hard numbers. Judy's got something.
Yeah, come on up, Judy.
So my question is, with this last invoice that they sent us, it just about fulfills the contract. There's what?
$2,775.
So there's that left, but then how long will they be working for us after we pay them this last invoice? Do you,
So it is until they come back with funding options for us, as far as,
is there a time period on that? Because
well, my thing is, no, I don't think there is a time period.
I just don't wanna pay
But-
them the final payment and they haven't fulfilled the total.
So they have fulfilled everything except for that $2,775, and I'm assuming, because they're saying that that's, 75% of that, funding acquisition, I'm assuming that is their portion to go out and try and secure funding, doing the grant applications, CIB applications and
Yeah, I
stuff.
just didn't, I haven't read the contracts and I just wanted to know if the contract stated you have 11 months to find us.
It does not, but, CIB does have to be in by October 1st.
And then after they get that one funding, then they're done? Is that?
I think that's the main funding that they're going after, but we have talked to them. I know I've talked to them. I don't know if David's talked to them recently. I mean, it's been a little bit. But I know that they are pursuing other options of funding too, because they know that CIB is not going to just cut it.
Did they, my understanding was they talked to you three, is that correct? Is there anything else that you can enlighten us on from that?
I mean, I haven't talked to Kendrick
Meeting.
for
What you
a
guys
while.
are saying, that's, yeah.
Okay.
I'm looking at time frame in the contract, 'cause I did believe it said something in there, but I think it's already, passed.
The time frame was for us to provide the information that they needed in order to proceed with, like the site and all of that stuff, like,
Is that what that's for?
yeah.
So you think when the CIB grant is due in October, will that basically end their search for funding?
I don't think.
I don't think so, because,
Even though that will probably
so,
fulfill their obligation,
but that's not,
contractual obligation.
but that's not securing funding.
Yeah, it's not
It's-
their total.
It's like going out, like, and doing the applications, but it states in there it's securing funding. So meaning, help-
Okay, I understand.
like,
that-
securing the
that-
funding for us, so not just, submitting the application and
Right.
walking away.
So if the worst case scenario, CIB comes back and says no, then Jones and DeMille will continue to search for funding opportunities?
I thought it only said up to 2.
Up to 2. I know we have looked at 3, but we were just kinda holding off until all of the other dust cleared with everything else that we had going on. So it's kinda just been put on hold. But I know, and David, correct me if I'm wrong, Kendrick did tell me that, CIB likes to see if there are other donations or other people, contributing, like maybe the school district. So I am hoping that they will have that stuff figured out before the CIB application even goes in October.
That helps your application, it does. If you
That's
get
what he said,
more
right?
participating entities you can get, it shows there's more vested interest in the community. If you can get the community, if you, whatever.
That's what we're waiting on, 'cause weren't we told that there was supposed to be a, letter of, or a letter from the school district saying that they were in support, and you talked about, well, it used to be the Huntsman Summer Games, and,
That's what we were told by the mayor,
yeah.
that she was working with the school district to get a letter of how much they would contribute to maintenance, wasn't it, a year?
Yeah.
Well, to that defense, everything got put on hold and nobody really wanted to talk about it. 'Cause we did have it on the agenda and it got removed because we wanted to talk about it after the truth in taxation.
True.
So that's why nothing has been done. It's really just been kind of at a standstill until we decided what we wanted to do.
Would you suggest that it'd be any advantage to get Jones and DeMille here with all of us and discuss this and get something, but we're up against the deadline's the trouble.
Well, October 1st is the
Yeah.
deadline for CIB, and I know that they want to
need
try,
to move forward.
and they want to find other funding sources in order to put that with their application with CIB.
Well, I think
I mean, you're not committing anything.
right,
Just
I
giving them.
tell them to go after everything they can find, and then come back and we'll look at it, and
Yeah.
And it says right here, look, it says assist city in preparing up to 2 funding applications, is all it kind of words,
so CIB and one other,
or whatever, yeah.
yeah.
Or whatever.
It'll assist us, so we,
My only concern is that we will not get charged per hour or more money after we've met that contractual amount.
well,
That's,
if we're requesting other stuff, yeah, they're gonna charge us for it,
But I think this is
over the
within,
contract, if we're,
right.
you know what I'm saying, if it's over
Mhm.
and above, but I would like clarification from them to,
okay,
you know what I'm saying, as
I
far as-
do,
that would be a good idea.
because, yeah, no,
Just,
I
you know,
agree.
'cause we could say, yeah, this is what it is, and no, you know, I'm not a legal person, read all that stuff.
Okay, so what are you wanting me to ask him, like, to clarify? Just so I'm clear on what you want, and I'll
I
get
think
it
we
from-
wanna know that the
$8,600.
how much do we have left?
900, wasn't it?
We have 2775 left.
Okay, we need to find out if the 2775 will be enough for them to do the CIB application
Okay.
and one other one.
Okay,
be what they'll do.
All right. Correct.
We need clarification from them that that's,
Christian, do you see anything else we ought to ask them as far as from a contractual perspective?
Not that I can think of right now, no.
Or anything that, you know, just in general, or anything that, you know, to see if, what they would do, I mean, without obligating any other expenditures?
No. But I haven't been involved in this process. It's been Justin, so he would be the better person to ask, but after what I've heard tonight, no, not that I can think of.
Yeah, we can definitely get clarification on that for sure.
So what we wanna do at this point then, to just, do you wanna make some kind of a motion to have them proceed?
I would make a motion to table it until we get clarification. I mean, is that what you're asking?
I'm asking for
Because
clarification.
I mean, I'd just like clarification to make sure that, you know, we're all clear on the same page.
Okay.
I mean, that's my opinion, just so we're not, you know, yeah, we're done up here, you got another $11,000 due because we stalled, you know, or whatever not, so.
I think we need clarification.
So how shall we do that? Just contact them? Should we have them come to this meeting? How do you wanna handle this?
Probably come to the next city council meeting, or what do you think?
I think it would be great. We just,
I mean, whatever convenient for them, yeah, I think it would be.
and I think they
And then we can,
should.
at that time, if get clarification, if we feel comfortable with it, then we can proceed or not,
Okay.
you know.
Okay.
I don't know how everybody else feels.
Oh, no, I feel the same way.
But we better make sure it's on the next one.
Correct, that's what I agree with.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So then we're looking at the first part of September. They will only have a few weeks in order to get all of that stuff together for October 1st.
What are we looking at? It'll be the eighth.
The eighth,
Okay. That sound good, Mayor Pro Tem?
I kinda feel like it's cutting it close. However, whatever you guys recommend, I'll go with too.
How'd you guys feel after visiting with them? I mean, who did you visit with?
Larry, Kendrick, and Wendy Lauer.
Okay. So.
it needs to be made clear that we were not, the three of us were not in the same room at the same time. So there was no,
Anything, any, information of any value that,
I think it's all that
Share.
you guys have heard already, I mean,
so,
there wasn't anything there that
I
really
guess that's why
stuck
they
out as far as
contact.
different than,
the thing that struck me the most was that even with a 50% CIB grant, the city is still looking at $6 million,
Mhm.
which is,
Yeah, with CIB alone.
With that
CIB
alone,
alone, and there's no guarantee that we're gonna get a 50-50 split with CIB.
And,
that does not cover our maintenance cost.
No, the
Right.
maintenance costs are
Separate.
not even, so I mean, the amount of money is,
Scary.
spooky.
But it is, but I would like to have hard numbers. Right now, all the numbers are just,
Well, they're pretty close, I mean, minus the inflation and,
that's where I'm kinda
I
nervous
mean,
about,
you
because
know,
we've already heard.
we're looking at almost 11 million with that proposal.
And we've already heard the school district went over on their buildings, their budgets has gone way high, so I don't know.
I mean, we're just,
So, anyway, that's,
I think we table it and we say we're gonna meet on the 8th, and you've got from the 8th of September to the 1st of October to get the CIB grant in and out. I mean, we have a timeline and we can make them have a timeline.
Right, and I think they're ready to submit to CIB.
Oh, I think so too. I think
they've
they've got
all of the information that they need. It's just the other, if they're going out, but that'll give them a few weeks to, try and secure all of that too.
But
I mean, I can
but if
personally-
they proceed and they are billing us additional, we need to know that, up over above the $2,000.
That's the
Yeah.
one that they,
For CIB and one
CI
other
and
funding,
one
like
other.
that's in their contract, like it's part of that.
they have not presented any funding proposals, which
I mean, we
means
can hold off
they
paying.
haven't met their obligation until they present
Right.
2 funding proposals.
And we can hold off paying that entire bill until they submit to CIB and do all of that funding.
Right? Is that correct,
I mean,
Judy?
we could do that.
Well, I think then let's, right,
Well, yeah.
which means 2 funding opportunities.
But not hinder them from fulfilling that.
No,
Right.
give them the go-ahead,
Yeah.
but say, show us 2 and then you get paid.
I
Show
mean,
us,
I think it's fair to let them fulfill their fulfill the contract.
oh, I do too. I
And
mean, that's
then
what we're paying.
nothing above and beyond. I mean, that's what we're paying them. That's what they were
So if you-
contracted to do.
Make a motion as that.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I would do. Because I mean, it's
Not
in their,
exceed the contract amount.
right.
I think that would be, doesn't hinder it, it
No.
makes them continue on from what we've got there and
Right, and that'll let them fulfill what's in their contract, let them do what they need to do.
I think it'll help this little time. My understanding, they've got some appointments trying to get them lined up, and so hopefully they get some information by then.
Okay,
But I think still let them do their contract, 'cause we've already committed to that.
yeah, I agree. Go that route.
Make a motion.
With my stuttering. I'll make a motion that, we proceed with the progress on the pool with Jones DeMille and not to exceed the amount that we have, contracted with them, is 86,900?
Mhm.
Mm. Or just the present, contract as specified.
Do I need to say that?
Matt, you can say
I
whatever
can put
you
you,
want.
that's good.
You're good.
You don't.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye.
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 Nay.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. All right, on to reports, updates, and old business follow-up. Jim, we'll start with you.
No, I had no meetings this past time.
I had one meeting, the Economic Development and Health meeting. We did, I thought it was a pretty good meeting. We did have, a gentleman come in and for Musco lighting and just kinda went over a bid on lighting the, baseball fields. Scary on the price, but I think it's promising, something that we can look at in the future. Just different sources. We had good conversation. I really liked their presentation of it. I said the prices are kinda scary on them, but, I mean, but it's something that we can look at anyway. Just proceeded a little bit with the ordinance for that group for economic developments. We're just working, hashing over a few things on that, and I think that's pretty much it.
And I didn't have any meetings either.
David?
You want me to, okay.
Yeah, I'll just go last.
Just, if any of you haven't taken notice, I mean, Meeks Pond's looking good. I wanna shout out to the city crews for their work there. And if you go over to the fairgrounds, they helped the county get that street roughed in from their parking area on First North to Second North on the west side of the soccer field, so that they can have that for, you know, ingress, egress, and kinda get the traffic flowing there. And so they did a good job and fixed that on 200 North. It was pretty bad where you have this traffic for the fair now, coming in there for the races, or not the races anymore, but for the rodeo and everything else. So the city crews have really, I think, you know, stepped up and really worked, because they usually had a lot of work to do on that fairgrounds, but they still are participating and, you know, helping out. If it's all right, the planning and zoning met, could we have Larry Zajac just kind of talk about this conditional use permit for that what is it?
Alpaca.
Alpaca. Would you like to do that? Okay. I think he could cover that better than me, 'cause there's kind of a question on that.
Good evening. Last planning and zoning session, we had a petition for a conditional use permit to keep an alpaca on a A1 zone piece of property. And so we looked into that and did some research and gathered quite a bit of information. And as we got into discussion, we talked about all that. And then in the end, what we did approve was a conditional use permit for that piece of property that essentially said you can keep an alpaca, which was a conditional use that was approved by code already, that said you can add an animal to the list of approved animals with a conditional use permit. So we took that to heart and granted that aspect of the conditional use permit. But we also, at the same time, went on to say you can keep that, what we called a medium or a sheep-size animal, along with the 4 horses that were already there. Well, by code, the 4 horses actually max out the number of animals allowed on a piece of property like that. So we may have erred by granting a conditional use permit with the language that said 1 alpaca and 4 horses. The reality is it could have been something more along the lines of 1 alpaca and 3 horses, or 4 alpaca and 3 horses. In other words, the code says 4 horses max, or if you take away a horse, you can keep 5 sheep, or 5 goats, or 5 small animals. And so, my recommendation, I have a couple. One is we ask legal counsel what they think about that. And secondly, if we find that to be inappropriate, my recommendation would be that we bring that matter to City Council, and City Council look at their 2 or 3 options. 1, denying the conditional use permit altogether, or potentially modifying that conditional use permit language to something more like what it should say, that says you can keep up to 4 horses or some other mixture of animals in accordance with the code. And but we still need to allow the alpaca to be one of the allowed animals by code in the city.
And wasn't the property 5/10, 500?
Yes, the other...
Smaller too.
Yeah, the other issue with that piece of property is looking at I think it's 1508-220 code in the city says that it's a minimum of 1 acre. And when we look at 1 acre, we looked at that piece of property, it is actually 0.95, so it is actually 0.05 of an acre shy of being a full acre parcel. we took the view that that was somewhat negligible, and that we wouldn't hang our hats on that.
Question on the conditional use permit, does it normally come to the council?
In this case, no.
Then, in my opinion, shouldn't it be just handled there?
Well, so let me clarify. There are specific things in the code that, for conditional use permits, where the authority to grant those is granted to the Planning and Zoning Commission without having to go to council. Those things have to be things that are already explicitly allowed or mentioned in the code. There's usually lists of those things, and this was the case with adding an animal. However, if we do something that changes code, or pretends to change code, or we want to recommend a code change, that comes to council.
Correct.
So in this case, our recommendation as it stands would need to come to council.
But it just applies to this particular piece of property. It doesn't change the code.
Yeah, as I said, but we're not coming and changing the code. But wouldn't it just come back to the planning and zoning as a legal aspect, let them resend it there, and then instead of bringing it here to the council? You know what I'm saying? Wouldn't it be there, or is there?
Yeah, I hear you, without sitting down and reading that. And Christian, do you have a?
Well, I haven't seen the code. If somebody could pull it up and give me a minute to read through it, I could tell you. But
I'd almost just revisit it there and then see what your planning and zoning committee recommends.
As Justin said, you have to go by the letter of the code.
Well, I don't think we have to go by the letter of the code. We have to go by the intent of the code.
So, and it says we can have 4 large animals and how many small, or just 4 large and no small?
If you exactly. If you have 4 large animals, then you can't have any small animals. If you subtract 1 large animal, now you can have 3 large animals.
Or he has the 4 horses.
Right.
He can't have the alpaca.
You can't have anything.
Even a dog?
Well,
that's
but a small animal is.
Because that alpaca is like the size of his dog.
it doesn't matter. It's not, an alpaca is.
Is it like a farm animal?
Right.
Type thing?
So you have.
It's equivalent to 5.
There's what they call it.
To 1 cow.
An AUM, animal unit, and 5 sheep equal one cow or 1 horse.
Okay. Thanks for the clarification.
So you can't substitute 1 for 1.
Right.
Is what we're saying, yeah.
It's just cute.
But I agree, Matt. I think this is something for the planning and zoning.
Work it out.
So we really have 3 codes to look at. So when you start this process, we look at the definition of the agricultural zone, because that property is zoned A1. So let's go ahead and look at this one. Oh, there we go. When we all get caught up, if you scroll down, there's more to that.
Yeah, I don't know if this is the place to do this. In member reports, I'm sorry, I just wanted clarification.
Yeah, maybe this is more detailed than we want to go into here.
It'd be a work meeting.
Yeah, I think that's what it does. I think go back to the planning and zoning and get with their recommendation with the other bodies, and then at legal and then recommendation, then bring it to us if we need to do like, you know, say change ordinance or not change ordinance or whatever.
Callie, can you go back to the one right before this?
That was 220.
It makes it sound like if you take one of those horses away, then you can have up to 5 sheep for that one horse.
Yeah.
That's what they said, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But he wants to keep the 4 horses plus the alpaca.
Well, and it says the maximum number of animals allowed on any lot or parcel shall be 4 large animals.
Mhm.
Or you could have 3
Yeah.
and 5, right?
Yeah,
Right, we understand that.
so,
That's why it was a conditional use.
Right.
He wanted
Yeah.
he wanted the 4 plus the alpaca.
oh,
Well, and really it came to us, it was clearly a request to be able to keep an alpaca. And had we just focused on keeping the alpaca and added an alpaca to the list of approved animals, if you will, and came out with a conditional use for being able to keep an alpaca, then we'd be clear to go. He wouldn't even need a conditional use permit for that piece of property. It would be, I take that back, because adding an alpaca to the list is a conditional use, and a conditional use is tied to that piece of property. If we wanted to go all the way to the city and all the way to you guys and to the council and say we recommend that we add alpaca to the list of approved animals, then no conditional use permit would be required at all. We would just go look at this code and say, you have 1 too many horses, or 4 too many horses and not near enough alpaca, depending on how we viewed that.
Okay.
So, I'm happy to accept that recommendation and take that back to, planning and zoning and revisit that. Christian, I would like a solid opinion on the size of the acreage.
I think it's one of those things where when you're making a decision, it can't be arbitrary and capricious. So, you know, the justification is it's .05 off. Is that a justification enough to make it so he can't have anything on there? And if you feel like it's not a justification to prevent him from having stuff on there, then you can make that recommendation and issue the permit accordingly.
I have got a question. Has that always been the size of his lot? Because I know that's where the ditch runs through. I live like 2 houses away from him.
Oh.
And I know that part of that fence that they had started to go into that ditch, so I'm just wondering, what was the initial size of his property? Like, has it always been whatever you're saying it is? Or has he lost part of his property to the ditch?
I'm almost positive it wasn't always 1 acre, just because somewhere it was part of a bigger parcel before it was subdivided, maybe many years ago.
Right.
However, the events that you're referring to, where his lot is sloughing off into the river in the back, has required that his fence is moved in, just because he chooses not to have his animals go down into the
ditch.
creek bed.
Yeah, that was just kind of my question,
Yeah.
if he's lost any of his property due to the erosion of the ditch.
Yes. A piece of that, but he's still, anyway. We will take that back to planning and zoning and kick it around one more time.
Okay.
Thank you.
thank you, Larry.
All right.
I think that's all. The Shade Tree Committee met and the council took care of that, declaring 6 as Arbor Day.
Fantastic. All right, so for me, I just had a meeting with, Jet on how the concert, just all of the activities through the summer, how they went. Also, clearing up some issues that they were having with, like the fairgrounds and stuff like that. And I think we're all moving in like the right direction, and it's all positive, and everyone's happy. And they did say that the Aladdin play that they put on did really well, and they had a lot of community support. I tried to get tickets, and they were all sold out, so that says something in itself, that they had a really good turnout, and that makes me happy to hear. I am still working on the RAP tax stuff that we're doing, so just for your information, next council meeting I will have that voter information pamphlet. It's almost completed. I just needed some clarifications on some things, and Callie's been amazingly willing to put up with all my questions, and same with Judy, and same with the county. You guys just answer all my questions and don't make me feel dumb. So you guys will be getting a copy of that to look at and approve or not approve, make changes or whatever next council meeting. And then with the TRT, I'm working on that, but I may reach out because some kind people said that they may help me with that. So I'll be talking with planning and zoning and seeing what we can do on that, because at that meeting there was a lot more to it than I anticipated, and it needs to be done by October. So I'm going to reach out and get a little bit of help and clarification on some stuff with that. So that's all I had.
I've got one more if you're done.
Yeah.
I forgot all about it. Last week we went to, Councilman Downey and I went to UAMP's conference last week. It was very informative. They're talked quite a bit, what kind of, not really shocked me, but just something that they talked about was we're looking maybe losing some of the power production out of Lake Powell, you know, because it goes down, we're like 35 feet from it. But they did, when we were at the meeting, did pull some of the water restrictions, how much water they can let out, how much they're going to keep in and stuff like that. I don't have the figures in front of me. But so that looks a little bit promising, but they're looking to, you know, maybe make some cutbacks of what water people use down the stream. I think that's what they're looking at first, and then they will come back to Utah. It's pretty complicated how they do it, but there was a lot of talk on just different stuff as far as the nuclear, hydrogen, you know, different kind of powers. IPP over there, they're way down in production right now in Delta because they can't get the coal over there. They can't, nobody to deliver it. People, I think they're looking at about 33% is what they're doing right now as production. But they will be switching over from coal to natural gas in the next couple of years and stuff there. So, but we would have to either contract with them. We're not part of that contract, but we negotiate contract into that. So, but it was very informative. It was a good couple of days there. It was a lot of stuff was kind of overwhelming, but it was good to understand a few things what we're involved in with the city, with UAMPS. So.
The nuclear information was really quite interesting. I think there's a few of us my age or older, but all we ever heard about was the nuclear accidents. And they gave us a map of where all these these small nuclear places were going to be, and I do believe that's going to be the future of the country, is going nuclear. And it was, you know, they're going to have them in canisters and all of that, and it's going to be very interesting down the line here, because everyone's going green. So.
All right, do you guys have anything else? Okay, thank you for your reports. Moving on to item 13.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to go into closed session to discuss one or more of the following: the character, professional competence, or physical or mental health of an individual.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Is this a roll call vote? Okay. Start with you, David.
David Burton, aye.
Rochelle Topham, aye.
Sharon Downey, aye.
Matt Gale, aye.
Jim Shirtliff, aye.
Motion carries. All right, is that? All right, I was like, do I need a motion to adjourn the meeting? Thank you, everyone, for coming, and
Thank you, everyone. You've had experience.
Can we have a 10-minute recess?
Yeah.
2 smokes and a coffee?
Yes, ma'am.
Maybe this is the
Huh?
even what a
See ya?
What is?
Okay. You want me to? Oh, yeah, okay.
Pardon me?
Well,
No,
using
no.
What meeting?
land for the animal.
You mean when the three of us went?
Can you,
Okay, thanks.
well, how do you send this?
I can send it to you, I just don't have
I'll give it to you. It's 435.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. 590 3538.
I'll do that.
Okay. Thank you so much.
How are you doing?
Good.
So would you look at those again for me? Because I want to do this one time. Can I write on that?
Yeah.
So. And then, we don't have it up here, so it's the R1 zone description and the R1 zone
Well, Jerry,
description. These are both in Title 15.xx something or other, very easy to find. Would you just look at those, because they're all intertwined. It starts here, because they live in this zone.
Yeah.
And then this zone says, well, all the requirements of the R1 zone, and then comes this one that starts out with all lots. And so, I'd just like a good read that,
did you listen to that part of it?
on that 1 acre thing, because I don't think we're gonna change it. I think we're probably gonna go
Me too.
0.05, and it might not be
Well,
that big of a deal.
Yeah, I don't think it is.
yeah, and
And,
just that,